What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So we talked previously about Sony and the situation they were facing with Backlash around update 8.0, where they had you opt in to have your voice recorded in party chats, apparently so that they could have proof for reports around harassment. Well, it got to the point where they felt the need to respond, apologize, and even go into a better explanation as to how all of this will work. Talk about that here today because there is still seemingly a lot of confusion around that online. Also, while Halo Infinite will not be alongside of the Series X and the Series S at launch next month, it does look like at least Master Chief Collection will be seeing a significant upgrade going to next gen. Oh, and we talked a bit about how the PS5 controllers were showing up in the back warehouses of retail stores. Well, it looks like they're finding the way out onto shelves now. And a lot of retailers are even moving the release date up now all across the board. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if you're brand new here, hit the red subscribe button down below. And we're gonna start today with that Game&Watch that Nintendo will be releasing next month. At least they're supposed to be releasing it next month for Mario. Of course, this is for the Mario 35 anniversary, where they had the Direct that shows 3D All-Stars, Mario Kart Live, Mario 35, and a bunch of other things. Well, it looks like this is still coming out next month, but it's not able to be pre-ordered yet. It's coming out November 13th, and it looks really, really cool. But the first thing I thought when I saw it was, they're gonna make like 10 of them. It's gonna be really hard to find, right? Now, they'll make, I'm sure, plenty of them, but it will be a collector's item. People will buy a ton of them, I would say, to try to resell them, and we still are unable, unfortunately, to pre-order them, but they seem to keep updating the page. For example, you can see here just under where it says coming November 13th, it says the Game&Watch Super Mario Bros. System, releasing November 13th, will continue to be shipped to retailers through approximately March 31st, 2021, and will be available for purchase while supplies last. So I guess we're gonna have several waves of shipments up until March, where they'll just kind of let the rest, I guess, of stock kind of just sort of trickle out, and eventually there won't be any left. It's odd because it seems like March 31st, and I know that's like the end of their fiscal year and all of that, that's when everything gets cut off. Like, that's it. Mario 35 goes away, which has been a pretty big hit. It's strange that that would go away unless they have bigger plans for it. Of course, Mario 3D All-Stars apparently goes away, and then this will go away. But here's hoping that we will have plenty of these, and anyone who wants one can get one, because I do think it will be something that will be marked up heavily by scalpers, resellers, all of this online. It's just odd that it's coming out November 13th, and we're still unable to pre-order it, but I will keep you guys up to date on that one. I'll make sure it's part of Newswave as soon as those pre-orders start going live, so we can try to pick one out. Also, Doom Eternal did get new DLC that just went live. They put this trailer out here. It is for Doom Eternal: The Ancient Gods. This is part 1. They also had update 3 that released alongside of it, and this is on Bethesda's website. It says, defeat powerful new threats, restore order to the heavens, and unearth the corruption that has thrown the universe into chaos. There are going to be 3 new Doom Eternal campaign maps: UAC Atlantica, Blood Swamps, the Holt. They also have several new support runes, and it also looks like they'll be including several different skins and a ton of bug fixes and other things. So this is really cool to see this come out, because it just kind of dropped. I downloaded, I started playing it. It's more Doom Eternal. That's a good thing. So I'm excited to kind of play through it. I'm sure we'll talk more about this on the podcast this weekend, Saturday night. But if you're a Switch owner right now and you're seeing this, I have to imagine it's frustrating. One, because this, of course, was supposed to come out alongside of the other systems, in March, and it still hasn't. We haven't heard anything about it, and now more DLC is coming out for it. So I get it. Trust me, I saw this when they were announcing the DLC. Everyone was like, well, what happened to the Switch version? Turns out they still can't say anything about it. So I don't know if there's like a third party, one of those partner directs coming up still, maybe in November, to finally say, hey, Doom Eternal's coming. Hard to say. I do hope, though, that if they have that planned and it's still not coming out till next year, maybe they'll package some of this DLC in to kind of make up for it. We'll see. Oh, and this is pretty cool because we had just talked about Mario 35 earlier, and it looks like there was a really cool Easter egg that was found. You can see this tweet here. This is from Combo, who says, hold L when you start a match and you can be a Luigi. L is real in Super Mario Bros. 35. Now, they go on to say that there seem to be several stipulations, and they're not 100% sure yet because this seems to have just been found. But they say it also seems like you will need to be at a star rank level 100 plus to actually do this. And as more people try it, they're finding out other things you have to do. So I'm sure eventually we'll have just a straightforward way to be Luigi, but I guess you hold L after you get to a certain point and you can run around as Luigi. I don't know if it'll give you any advantages. I think it'll just be like, oh, that person's Luigi. that's really cool. It's something neat to throw in there, and honestly, we didn't know about it until now, so it's one of those fun things that Nintendo kind of hid in Mario 35. And like I said, it's weird that it's going away. You feel like they would have just kept updating it over time with new costume skins, all of that. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're starting right away with the situation around Sony, their update 8.0, and recording your voice chat during any of the party chats you're having. Sony says that it is for actually reporting any type of harassment, having proof of that, rather than them just taking your word for it, maybe banning someone for 24 hours. Like I said, happened a lot during the Xbox Live days on the 360 when we were still kind of new to the whole voice chat back and forth thing. But let's go over here to PlayStation Blog where they go more in depth with this. Please note that this feature will not actively monitor or listen in on your conversations, ever, and is strictly reserved for reporting online abuse or harassment. PlayStation gamers learned about this new function in an unexpected way following the recent PS4 8.00 system update. We didn't clearly communicate this feature or explain why we're introducing it, and we apologize for that. When the PS5 console launches in November, PS5 users will be able to chat with PS4 users, which is why we needed to include an advisory with the latest PS4 system update. We should have more clearly explained why this function was being rolled out, along with details on how it will work on the PS5 console, so let me walk you through that now. Once the PS5 console launches, if a PS5 player needs to file a harassment report, they will be able to include up to 40-second long voice chat clip in their report, 20 seconds of the main conversation with the other player, plus an additional 10 seconds before and after the conversation selection. Only the most recent 5 minutes of a voice chat will be available for a player to use for this reporting function. Some submitted reports won't be valid, and our team will take this as an opportunity to provide guidance and education. There won't be an option to opt out of this voice chat recording function because we want all users to feel safe when playing with others online, not just those who choose to enable it. So there is going to be a lot of trust here with Sony, right? You're basically going in there and saying, well, they say they're not recording our voice chat, so they're probably not, right? Look, a lot of electronics around you record your voice. Your cell phone, what do you think it's doing most of the time when it's in your pocket? That's why if you start talking about something you might need and you pick up your phone, oh wow, there's an ad for it randomly on this webpage that I'm surfing right now or on Facebook or something. Yeah, that's just kind of the world we live in right now. But this at least seems like it has a function that Sony is attempting to describe here, where if you're in a voice chat and you don't like what someone's saying or they're getting a little too aggressive with you or something, you can have a snippet of the voice chat, and I guess you can cut it up. Seems that you can have 10 seconds around it. Maybe you can explain what was happening, and then you can send it in for a report, which, like I said, back in the day, we didn't have this, so Microsoft would have to like take our word, and a lot of times people would just report you because you beat them real bad in something like Halo or Call of Duty, and they would say, oh, well, they were being mean to me, and you would get a 24-hour ban. It happened. It happened to a lot of my friends all the time because of this. So I guess in this instance, you can have some proof, and they say if someone reports something and it's obviously not like harassment or any of that, they'll have some sort of guidance. I don't know if they can disable it for that person for 24 hours or something. Like I said, I'm more of a mute and move on kind of person because that was super easy to do back in the day. Even with Halo, you'd hold back, you'd scroll down, you hit A and then mute the person if they were annoying you, or they would just blast music. That's all it would be. People would just blast music or have that voice modulator thing. Oh, quick mute and that was it. But let me know what you think about this now that they've more clearly explained it and even apologized. Do you think this is a good idea to prove harassment? And do you think it will maybe work to stop some of the harassment online with the PlayStation 5 community? Next up, let's talk about the Master Chief Collection on the Xbox Series X and the Series S. And I was expecting them to do something with it, right? Like some sort of big upgrade, since Halo Infinite's not going to be there. And that's like, that does hurt pretty bad, because you look at the launch lineup and there's not a lot of big new things from their first parties, but they are going to have upgrades around some of their current games, and that's probably why they're pushing backwards compatibility so heavily right now. Sure, it's something that they have over Sony going beyond back to the 360 and the original Xbox, but it's kind of what they really have to leverage right now. However, Master Chief Collection is an awesome game to check out. And you can see here with this tweet from Aaron Greenberg, says, excited to share that Halo Master Chief Collection will be fully optimized this holiday, including 120 frames per second campaign and multiplayer on both Xbox Series X and S. Also cross-gen play and adjustable field of view. Note, all these upgrades are free to anyone who owns the game or is in Xbox Game Pass. Now, the original tweet did say up to 4K on the Series X, and you know what? Master Chief Collection runs great on the One X. That's 60 frames there, which is really, really cool. If you go to PC, obviously, though, you're playing 144 frames. Like, that's what I play right now on PC for Halo 3 currently, and, you know, I play Reach here and there and Halo 2, but generally Halo 3 is my go-to. This is great to see, by the way. A big upgrade like this field of view slider is big, and 120 frames per second. Again, if you're mostly someone who's used to something even like 30 frames or 60 frames, if you have a monitor or specifically a TV that supports 120 hertz, it is a pretty big difference. It's just overall way more responsive, and it is good to see this, but like I said, it just mostly hurts that there is no Halo Infinite next to the system to launch with, but I guess they at least have an upgrade. It is free if you already have Game Pass even, or the game itself. So it is something I will be downloading, checking out, of course, on the Series X after launch. This is coming November 17th. So it's missing the launch by about 5 days, but basically within that week, we'll be playing 4K or 120 frames per second Halo Master Chief Collection. Now, I am curious if that also means that the Series S will be 120 frames 1080p. Is that what we're shooting for here? The Series S seems to still be a big mystery around resolution and frame rate at times. The Series X, I think, is more straightforward. This should probably be 4K 120, maybe a dynamic 4K, we'll see. But exciting stuff there, at least for the Master Chief Collection, which is still very relevant now in 2020. Certainly worth checking out. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and if you should have it set up vertically or horizontally. Now, of course, it comes with the stand, and you can put it however you need to, really to fit in your entertainment center, or if you're someone who's just gonna stand it up next to your TV, you can do that as well. Well, we did, of course, have the gentleman who tore the whole system down, showed it off internally, everything, the big old heat sink. Well, it looks like 4Gamer had an interview with him, and they asked how he would set the system up. This is a frequently asked question. From the designer's point of view, there is no difference in cooling performance between vertical and horizontal installation. I think some people think that the heat dissipation efficiency should be higher in the vertical installation due to the chimney effect. However, in a cooling system with an active fan, electrical fan, the chimney effect is at the measurement error level. It works according to the specifications in both horizontal and vertical installation. Personally, I like the vertical placement where the top and bottom of the PlayStation logo can be seen correctly. And that is, once again, this is from Yasuhiro Otori, who did break the PS5 down for us. And there you go. He would know better than anyone. You can put it however you need to. I don't think it's surprising because the system either way is basically picked up off the ground. That's what the stand is doing. If it's on its side, it was set up specifically to not be able to sit flat on the ground. You do need that stand, and when it's vertically, it has, I still think, the most room around it to kind of pull air in and push it out. I know he says there's no difference really when it comes to the overall temperature and heat dissipation, but still, I think most people will opt to stand it up. I guess if you're trying to fit this big old thing in your entertainment center, you'll probably have no choice but to put it horizontally. Even then, hopefully it fits, because it's still pretty wide when you put it on its side there. But let me know specifically how you are going to set it up. Is this going to be vertical or horizontal? For me, I think I will leave it vertically, and it'll look like one of those space heaters that you buy. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller and other accessories that appear to be releasing well ahead of the console, by like almost 2 weeks. So this was posted to Twitter. You can see it's from Destruct saying PS5 controller spotted on Walmart. And yeah, that's behind the glass. Several of those DualSense controllers lined up there. And once again, I've seen something like this happen with other things. I think the Pokeball Plus was one that this happened to me, where I saw it behind the glass, attempted to buy it, wouldn't go through. It's register locked. So it's interesting that it is at the store, because the weird thing right now is that other retailers, GameStop, Best Buy, I believe Walmart, have all moved the release date, which means that in the computer it's also moved up to October 30th. Originally, we had heard that I think Amazon kind of moved it around. They're like, well, they still have to ship it and all this stuff. But now all the retailers are doing that. So you may be able to buy a DualSense 2 weeks ahead of time. And I am still curious, as I said before, what you would do with it. But I mean, I guess you have it. You might even try to plug it into your PC to see if that picks it up as a PlayStation controller, and maybe you can use it on some PC games. I heard some people say, oh, maybe you could plug it into the PS4 and it'll work there. I don't really think so, because we've heard from Sony that they're trying to split up the generations, at least with controllers. So I don't know, maybe you can get it and check it out. Well, I should get one and we'll tear it down. That would be a cool thing to do. October 30th, maybe I'll go out to a Walmart or Best Buy and see if they just have them out for me to pick up. But anyway, it looks like you'll be able to at least grab that, maybe the camera, the headphones. I guess just keep an eye out, and who knows, maybe soon we'll start seeing PS5 systems just behind the glass at Walmart, maybe a week or so in advance. And we'll finish up with a comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from what appears to just be a period, saying, Spawnwave is a PlayStation Nintendo fanboy I didn't know before, but it is so obvious. The Xbox Series X UI being 1080p is not as big of a deal as the fact that the PS5 could potentially be shipping with a whole 200 gigabytes less than the Xbox Series X, and we've seen how expensive the SSD is. At least the UI can get updated, extra storage can't be without spending money. That's all stuff I said during that, but yes, that apparently is where we are now. I'm getting roasted by actual punctuation. Now, as for the fanboy part, I've decided that the best way to remain unbiased to the viewers is to be called a fanboy for all the systems. And I'm very close. At one point, one comment thread, I was called a PlayStation fanboy, I was called a Nintendo fanboy, and an Xbox fanboy. So like at that point, I would assume anyway, I've completed the cycle. But we have the new challenger of Stadia. And I gotta say, I've tried. Like, this is tough. Google's not giving me much to work with here. Really, they're not. Because, did you know that Stadia is currently doing a 3-day event of announcements? You probably don't know that because the big announcement apparently was Pac-Man yesterday. I think there was some other stuff in there, but it was Pac-Man. And how do I work with that? I mean, if you go over here on Reddit, check this out. It's like the feeling you get when you get socks for Christmas. That's on the Stadia Reddit. I can't do anything with that, Google. You gotta try harder. How am I supposed to tell everyone? You gotta sell your Xbox Series X, your PS5, and your Switch so you can buy a 5-year subscription to Stadia if you're giving us Pac-Man and socks for Christmas. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike, leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller and other accessories releasing ahead of the PS5. Are you picking any up just to have them ahead of time? Let me know about that one down below. And then also what about Sony recording voice chat, of course, in-party chats to try to mitigate harassment. I wonder if that'll work. Let me know about that one down below. And then Halo Master Chief Collection. Have you played it before? And are you going to download it when the Xbox Series X and the S come out to check out all of the really cool enhancements they are doing? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.